Hello everybody, welcome back to Motorsport Manager. It's time for the off-season as we move up to the top tier, Class A if you will, LMP1 of the World Endurance Championship. Now, I've been looking at this a little bit and I think I'm going to be a little more aggressive than I was intending on being originally. We're going to go for the gold if you will. We're going to try to win our first year up and get out of the Endurance Series, move into the more lucrative and prestigious single-seater after the 2022 year. And I normally don't want to call that right at the beginning and be that aggressive, but I think we can do it in this case. Now, if we look around, our HQ sucks, our car sucks, but they say we already have the best staff. Our sponsors are okay. Our pit crew's number 2. Our driver's number 2, though way behind Rebellion Racing, which is a bit of a concern. But the main reason that I think we can pull that off is in the rules. So if we look at what we're going to be doing here, a lot of stuff is the same. Long practice, long qualifying, etc. Pit stops are going to be longer because they're going to be doing sequentially. We're going to have a smaller crew size. We'll look at that in a bit here. But the big one is coming up down here. Hybrid power mode. I didn't think they had that at this level. Thought I'd checked into that, but they do. So we do have a hybrid mode, adds 1 million to ERS chassis parts, but I've always thought that hybrid gave us a significant advantage. And driver aids are not allowed in this series, so we're going to have a really good drivers compared to the field. Will be above average at least. We'll have the advantage from the hybrid power mode. There's the driver aids deal. And we'll also have the advantage of having the longer and more frequent pit stops, which gives us more strategic advantages. Now, not using the power instead of the hybrid option does mean that it may be more difficult to pass teams during the race. But I still think that we're going to have a really good advantage there once we get used to it. And should be able to really go after this. The other part of it is just having so many spec parts, especially the engine, which is the number one part. The cars are going to be reasonably competitive with each other. So I think there's a lot of things working in our advantage to really being competitive in our first year, and then just try to outwit the AI cars and get that done. Now, with the pit crew, they were down to just the 6 people. The tire people will also handle fixing, and of course we don't plan on doing that. Actually, these 2 tire people handle fixing. These 2 tire people handle refueling. So finding people who are good at tires, like we're going to want to balance out the tire and refueling on these as much as possible. So we're going to be doing some switching around with that. That's probably going to be the key thing to find here. We're already second. And the team that has better drivers, Rebellion, is below us. So that's a good sign. All that's a good sign. Now, what do we want to do in terms of our people? And the main thing I want to look at is our designer. Is Keiji Fujiwara, how is he at the parts that we actually are going to need? And the answer is, I don't think he's that great. And he sucks at the nose, he's great at the gearbox, and the rear wing is average. So I think we definitely want to replace him. Now, I don't see a need to replace Gleisner, so let's go ahead and try to renew his contract, and he does want to talk to us. He wants a long deal. I don't see any reason not to give it to him. Wages are not very important, he says. He's currently making $56K. He's got a lot of patience, so I'm just going to try to give him this deal, not interested in the bonus size, and we'll up his payment if we need to. Okay, now when it comes to the drivers, nobody is up for their contract. We have a couple of them with a year to go. One is Goddard, and I want to hang on to him. And then Bjork, I'm a little bit leery because, one, he's one of our weakest drivers, and then he's got the addictive personality issue here, and that's going to be up in a couple weeks, and I think he may develop a worse gambling problem, and if he does, I may want to replace him. Otherwise, I'm going to keep him around. But, if this gets worse, because it is a $2 million hit to cut him, so, that's not nothing. We're going to be losing some pit crew, which will help with our weak week to week. And right now the races are giving us an 85K to the good. So looking okay there. The main thing we want to do, though, at this point is definitely to find a new designer. Nose, gearbox, and spoiler. Those are what we're looking for. Okay, so this guy, Ruel Vandevoort, is working for Campos Racing. Well, let me go back a little bit. You can see he's got 20 and all the key stuff we want, but he's not all the way up the scale. He's 4.5-star driver. A nice big chunk there to break his contract. I prefer you to pay it all. Of course you would. But he says wages aren't very important to me. That would give us a really top-notch guy. Now, again, we're going to be paying him quite a bit if we take him on. And really an interesting, like a nice sizing on fee, etc. I just felt that he was a little bit rich for us. I want to be able to put a good amount of money into the car, and I think the designer is not as important this year because we're going for it. Now, if we're playing for the future, I might feel like investing the money here. But I just think that's a little bit of a stretch financially. And here's another one. You can see 16, 19, 18. So basically she's special. She's in the Renault Sport of the Formula One Championship. So she's definitely achieving at the highest level. You can see the record here has been there for a long time, but they're not a hugely successful team. And, specializes in what we want. 4-star, a little bit less to break the contract. Doesn't look like she's asking for quite as much money. Wages are fairly important. So probably wants, maybe we could get away with this. Maybe. Medium contract. And wants us to pay it all. This is still fairly expensive. Like she's actually not that much cheaper because of her higher contract demands. So I thought, you know what? Let's just keep looking. And then I finally settled on, I tried a couple other options. One guy looked pretty good, but he was really demanding with his finances. Rudolf Florstedt here, I like him. About the same ability as Fujiwara, only a little bit better overall, but he's focused on, maxed out on all 3 parts we need. So that's a great deal. Now there is a break contract clause, etc. He's asking for $361K where he currently is, but that's what he's getting paid. But it looks like he might be willing to take a cut. Wages aren't very important to me, he says. So I'm going to see if I can get him for this 236 number. And look at this. He doesn't even care who pays the buyout clause. If I can get him to pay that, we can save that. He wants a signing on fee. He said he'd prefer one. He's not that interested in how much it is. So let's just say it goes about there. Doesn't care about these. And very patient with the concept of signing for us. And he is currently working at Theodore Racing. But we're going to try to steal him away there. Let's see how this works out for us. So for now, that's what I'm going to go with. Again, I'm thinking about replacing Bjork. Haven't decided for sure that I want to do that right now, though. So let's see, we're waiting to see if Gleisner is going to resign and whether or not we are going to get our new designer in. Terms have not been met. Go back to the negotiation table. Okay. Lost 2 patients. He's insulted by the contract offer. Delighted here. These are fine. So if it's insulted, that means he probably wants to go up 2 steps. Let's offer him the 73K. That is a raise. But, he's just over 4-star mechanic. Rather, he'd been with us for a while. It's not that much. It's 17K a race. Mechanics aren't expensive. Let's just go with it. And I imagine he's probably going to say yes to that. And it looks like we didn't quite nail that one either. Unhappy with the signing on fee. And also unhappy with this. So let's boost each of those up 1 level. And we've still got 4 of these right here. He's happy. He's delighted to pay the buyout clause himself. Fine. You know, so all of that's going well. And we're going to resend that. And I think we'll get both of them, just a case of what the final terms end up being. And now, of course, for the all-important chassis design. And another $4 million that we had socked away for it. The engine supplier. And this is almost as good as this is, but we get a discount for Gibson. On the other hand, we could get better fuel efficiency if we went here. And we'll start there, and then maybe we need to bump up the fuel efficiency, but we don't get the stat modifier that we get here. So the engine might actually be a little weaker. I don't know if that like improves it even when we have a spec engine. I'm not sure how that works. Anyway, we find that we need more fuel efficiency. We can come back here. Okay, fuel supplier, all kinds of them all over the place. We've got 3 that have top-notch fuel efficiency and improvability. That would do up to 4 and 4. That appears to be just slightly better. And that ups the improvability just a bit. I don't see a reason for now not to go with that. Materials, tire wear and tire heating. We got the discount here. It gives us an advantage of heating over wear as opposed to the other way around. 4-star and 2.5. Brake supplier. Now here we'd like to get better tire wear than tire heating if we can. So what if we went here? It's a little bit cheaper. 4-star tire wear and off the charts on tire heating. Are we going to get anything better on tire? Yeah, that would definitely be better. Maxed out tire wear and tire heating. Not quite. So I really like going with Bosch here. Because, I mean, maxed out tire wear and tire heating obviously would really help us with our goal of winning this year. Fuel efficiency is at 4 stars plus. It's not great, but it's good. And there's the approvability. And then, of course, the battery supplier. So it appears the choice here is between starting charge and efficiency. And I'd definitely rather have the higher efficiency. I think particularly with longer races, endurance definitely being longer races, we're going to, you know, it's the long-term deal that we want. It's a moderate price. Okay, so we're at 51 million. That would drop us down to 18 million. And last year, we spent 38,900,000. So we're spending more this year, but I think I'd like to boost that fuel efficiency even. So if I go here, yeah, that's almost maxed out. Now that only leaves us, with 14.5 million. I mean, this is an expensive chassis, but I think we can afford it. I really do. Yeah. We're basically spending our prize money plus the money we had saved up for the car. Because that was 50.5 million plus 4. So it's 54.5, only spending another 500K. I don't see a reason not to go with that. Yep, and that's, I think really maxing out these stats here, we're going to go for the win this year. That's what we got to do. So I'm pulling the trigger. $55 million chassis. We better make it run. Better make it worth it. 14.5 million. So time to see what our hires have to say about our most recent offers. Yes, we're going to have a brake supplier breakthrough. 2.5 million plus 1 tire heating. And the other thing is I think we can sort of avoid this because I don't think we can go up from virtually maxed. So we'll just say nah. So it'll be interesting to see how all that works out. We do have a contract offer and okay. So our new designer is ready to come in. Yes, indeed. And of course, cost is almost twice as much per race, but he's basically perfect for what we need. So we're going to take him. Pay the $315K in the signing on fee. And here's what they say. The German designer has long been rumored to be an expert in the field of acceleration, which must have played a part in our decision. Keiji Fujiwara reported to be absolutely gutted. Well, it's good that he wanted to stick around. And Florestedt says, great to have joined you. I can't wait to get cracking. Well, we can't wait for you to do it either. Let's see. Where's Bjork at with his... Okay, his issues have resolved themselves, it would appear. Where are we sitting on the team in terms of drivers? Yeah, we suck now. We're down to 4th. You know what? Let's look around and see if there's any major upgrades. Drivers at the 3.5 or better level that might be interested in joining us. There's a 4-star one. Garcia wants to switch careers, so he's willing to take less money but wants more money at the same time. We'll go ahead and pass on him. Only decent marketability. 91 though that's pretty good. What does he want? Wages are not very important. So maybe we get him for about 400k as opposed to Bjork. Yeah. I mean, if we could get him for that price, we lose a couple million in the signing, but you know, I think that's probably worth it. So let's see if he's willing to take that kind of price. Equal car. Long contract. Says nothing else is too important. Okay. So that would be an upgrade. Really, the only thing I think I want to do now is replace Bjork. So let's take a look at what some of the other teams have. Okay, yeah, 5, 4, and 3. Yeah, so we're seeing a lot of 4-star, a little bit better drivers, I think. Rebellion. Yeah, you can see a lot of them around the 4-star here. So I think upgrading a 3-star driver to 4-star is good. But then if we look through, we've got Castelli 3.5, Muck 4, Mueller 4, 3 flat, 3.5, 3.5. So I think replacing the weak link in Bjork and then letting everybody else play out their current contract, that seems best to me. I'm not sure, but it seems best. And Gleisner willing to come in now that I upped his deal to where he wants it. Okay, so he's renewed for a little bit more money. Financially, right now, we're looking at 84k short a race now. But we still have more work we can do with sponsors, so I'm not too terribly worried there. All right. He's willing to take it. United Auto Sports improved their handling development center. Okay. So Van Hoor, willing to sign the deal. And replace Bjork. Let's do it. And we owe the 2 million break clause deal. Old cost per race, new cost, we're going to save actually 56k a race. That's going to move our finances to almost neutral. Bjork says a joke, an absolute joke. Meanwhile, Van Hoor ready to join us. Absolutely thrilled with the move and hopes to have a wonderful stay. Worth 3.5 million to him a year. Better be having a wonderful stay at that price. No, I think I'm going to be happy with that lineup. And let's just see what it does. It moves us up a little bit. We're still considered 4th, still a little bit below average. But I don't think there's a huge gap between us now. Like, our drivers aren't quite as good as the others, but I don't think that there's a team that's running away with it. We've still got strong staff, a strong pit crew. Marketability's good. And, you know, with top-notch chassis, that should really help us too. I mean, nobody's going to have a better one. You know, be right there with the best of the competition on that. Doing a little bit of scouting here. Fuel supplier breakthrough. Improve our fuel efficiency. No, we don't need it. Save the money. We are down to 12 million. Now, I'm wondering about the HQ. And all of the parts we want to develop are at Epic. You know, we're high enough on the marketability that I think we're probably going to want this. So let's build a helipad. Doesn't cost that much. Possibly get the 5-star sponsors. So we'll get that in place. I don't want to spend a bunch in here. Design center and factory at level 2. Level 2, level 2. Upgrading the forecasting center would be nice. But I don't think we really need it. I think we can afford some things, but not a lot. Like, I can't afford to spend 30 million. Like, I don't have 30 million to spend on the big ticket items. And on the smaller things, I don't see anything that would really help us. So I think we'd really want to just save up money for the bigger ones, and not going to do that yet. So I think the helipad and continuing on, that's our path. And we've got an improvability thing, but I think we're good on that. Oh, we got rumors that we're getting rid of Kestelyi. No, we're not. But drops her morale 30 for the next 7 weeks. Let's see what it's at now. It's still good. So, starting out with the good morale, definitely helping. Worried about the improvability? I'm not. The improvability's fine. Okay, and I definitely want to change the livery this year. Because we stuck with the Royal or Navy or whatever the heck it is, blue last year. But I think we're ready to sort of rebrand it in our image. So let's see what we can do with that. Okay, now as ever with the Fire mod, there are specific liveries for each series. And they say 42, you always want to use the workshop ones, 42 through 59 for the Endurance series, and not all of them work. So we just kind of got to go through them and see. So we have blue, and we're going to stick with the same primary colors. Let's just... That's an interesting multicolored one. I think that's what we have. One of those two. Okay, yeah, it's not changing this up at all. That's interesting. That's got a little more black in it. That's a little gaudy for my taste. I'm going to try going back through them in reverse, just so we can see them from a slightly different angle. Yeah, no. So some of these are pretty distinctive. But I think I like the high for like around this area. Yeah, I think 48 through 50 are pretty much the ones I want to choose from. Probably not that one. Either this or that. Suppose it's... Yeah, that's a little more bluish, but it's got more color in other places. I think that's what I'm going to go with. Okay, so there it is, livery number 50, for anybody who cares. That's what we're going to use. Yeah, I think that's pretty solid. Gives a little more, it keeps with the blue, but also gives a little more distinctiveness to our car. A little more flash. You know, just a little cooler. And our helipad is in place. So I think we're now ready. And we're at 33K a race. So I think we should gradually be making a profit this year, which is an excellent goal to have. Pre-season testing. Let's see how that rolls in a bit. New design completed. Many will be keeping an eye on Alpine Mehmet, who promoted last year. Indeed. Okay, so I don't think I have a choice. They're putting out Castelli and Muck, and that's fine. We got engine issues for car number 2. We did. And then it looks like they were resolved. And look at us. Finishing 2nd and 7th. I will take that. And a pre-season testing report. Testing went brilliantly. Second, said Muck was out there. Okay, and United Auto Sports led the way. Introduction to ERS. There's the hybrid mode, and only active during the race. I'm so happy to have the hybrid mode, though. That's really going to help us out. Okay. I predict that we'll come in 4th. Where do you think we'll finish? I mean, I definitely don't want to go with 6th. We could go for 2nd. But I think going here and then boosting our marketability by doing better, getting the top-notch sponsors, I think that's the way to play this. All right, so we are set for the new year. We're heading off to our den in 11 days. We've got pit crew matters to sort out. We've got to design new parts. All of that will be coming up later. And I'm at 19 in loyalty, 20 and everything else, so we're doing quite well there. Car still stinks, driver is below average, headquarters sucks, but they still like our staff. Sponsors are only decent, and pit crew is strong. So I think with the rules coming, boy, that's a lot of blue from the top. Maybe a little too much. Anyway, I still think with the hybrid and the other advantages coming our way, we should be able to do pretty well. But we'll have to wait and see whether or not the investment in the chassis is going to pay off. So next time, we will be heading off to begin the 2022 season. Till then, thanks for watching, everybody. Motorsport Manager will continue.